Today I fucked up by spending a weekend at beach house with my wife and attractive SIL. I recently had a vacation with my wife and her family. We got there early and my SIL decided to show up a couple of days early, too. I figure it's fine, she is cool. My SIL is objectively attractive. She isn't exactly my type, but I've jerked it to her bikini shots on IG. Not proud of it, but for the sake of honesty I have to admit to it. This is where the foo begins. While we were enjoying a couple of days at the beach, I started to get in my head that a threesome could happen. I know it's wrong, but that made it even hotter to me. I wasn't sure how I was going to bring it up or suggest it. Could it be over wine? Or while we are at the beach? Maybe throw on a movie with suggestive undertones? Then it dawned on me if it went wrong, I would ruin the single most important relationship I have. And potentially screw up a family for a long time. So I decided to excuse myself for a quick jerk session in the bathroom and the post-nut clarity hit me. I need to stop watching so much porn. It's warping my mind to even think this is an option or a good idea. The real fuck-up is my long-time porn habit that is creeping into more than just intrusive thoughts or passing fantasies. I almost thought it was a reality that I would bang my SIL. I'm having a hard time keeping porn for jerk sessions and not everyday life. I never brought it up. Made sure I wasn't being creepy with my SIL. And cancelled my webcam and of subscriptions. Even disabled my IG for a while to wean myself off porn for a while. Too long did not read. Porn made me think propositioning my SIL for a threesome was an actual possibility and not a life-altering horrible decision. This was almost a world-ending nuclear TIFU. Good job on recognizing where you're heading and how bad it could get. I think this was a necessary FCK up. This seems to really be affecting your real life and I definitely wouldn't feel good in your wife's position, personally. Give yourself a little bit of credit for recognizing where it's getting touchy and keep up the energy to not go back down that road. She isn't exactly my type, but I've jerked it to her bikini shots on IG. She's not your type, so that's very kind and charitable of you to give a courtesy jerk. Few as a woman who wouldn't mind a threesome. I'd never let my sister be the second woman. Also now your wife would probably say no and always know you're into her sister. I pretend my hot sister isn't my guy's type. Just had war flashbacks to when my high school boyfriend told me my sister was hotter than me. This happened to me on acid with my girl's best friend. We were all tripping. I thought I was getting mixed signals. I was about to pull trigger. And then like that's so Raven. I had a vision of how that would go if I was unsuccessful and I had a moment of clarity. Today I fucked up by ignoring bowel movement issues for 3 years. For 3 years now I've had extremely irregular bowel movements. The main issue was my stools alternating between having the texture of bricks one day, and cereal soaked overnight the next. The issue didn't start overnight, it was a gradual problem that slowly got worse, so naturally I never went to a doctor to figure out what was wrong. My partner, who I've been seeing for a couple of years, has consistently insisted I see a doctor but I always brushed it off. Anyway, I continued ignoring my discomfort, until a few weeks ago I saw a map, probably on our map porn, which showed the percentage of each country which is lactose intolerant. Surprisingly it showed 100% for Japan. As a non-lactose intolerant Japanese person I immediately thought, clearly this is wrong, and sent it to my partner. They replied, "You're probably lactose intolerant lol. This is unthinkable. I have cereal and milk for breakfast literally every morning and have done so my whole life. I live for cheese and ice cream. How could I be lactose intolerant when my favorite dessert is cheesecake?" I struggled to believe this revelation, but decided to drink oat milk for a couple of weeks instead of regular milk to see if anything changes. Everything changed. I baked the loaf, consistently once a day, and it had the texture of a peeled banana. No more weird volumes of all 3 states of matter. To be honest, I still wasn't convinced, maybe it was just a coincidence. I decided to go back to regular dairy for a week just to confirm, and that, folks, is how TIFU. Once again, slightly painful liquid from where liquid should not be pouring out. It appears I really developed lactose intolerance during my early 20s. Too long did not read. Ignored wet poops for 3 years, consumed dairy every day without batting an eye. Turns out I was lactose intolerant all along. This is a common age to develop lactose intolerance. Congratulations and welcome to the lactose intolerant nation. Hands clapping. Thank goodness there are a lot of lactose-free options available now, otherwise life would be shitty. Pun intended. Your descriptions of your fecal textures and consistencies are sublime. Clear, effective, revolting. Mine developed in my 20s as well, but instead to the casein protein in milk. I drank milk like a fish in my teens. The texture of a peeled banana, aka the perfect poop. You can take Lactaid pills and still eat some of your favorite dairy foods. Today I fucked up by letting a student do this day in history. I'm a teacher in a middle school. Every morning after the Pledge of Allegiance, the principal talks about a noteworthy event in history over the intercom. This is usually some sort of invention, like the Wright Bros plane, or a war treaty was signed. For some reason today, April 20th, he didn't make this announcement. This will become very apparent in about a minute. One of my students asked if they could look it up, so I figured what the heck, worst case scenario they get to practice a little public speaking. I forgot today was the anniversary of Columbine. So to my horror the student read about the tragic anniversary of a school shooting. To their credit, they took it seriously. We had a somewhat serious conversation about school shootings after that, but I still feel bad about beginning first period with what was basically an elegy. TL. Dr. One of my middle school students read about the Columbine shooting for this day in history. I thought for sure you were going to talk about drugs. To lighten the mood, today was also the birthday of a very famous German politician. I was expecting pot talk, but damn. Good. Kids already know shootings happen, hopefully you let them discuss fears and solutions. My grandpa was a shop teacher at Columbine, for real. I have in the past made the topic become quite somber, especially when other kids or current kids are inappropriately joking about it. I'll say, my grandpa was a teacher at Columbine and he's no longer with us. Kids typically react, holy shit, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have joked about it. Mind you, the fact that he's passed away has nothing to do with the events Columbine is infamous for. I thought Hitler